welcome to the RTD's English News. The headline are: the head of state strongly condemned the attack in Paris. The President Hollande announced a state of emergency on Friday night as France pursued two border checks. Thank you for joining us here on RTD. The French capital has experienced terror last night with the worst terrorist attack since September 11, 2000. In fact, 8 coordinated attacks have cost the lives of 128 people, more than 200 injured, including 18 seriously injured. An unprecedented situation that will dominate our edition tonight. Faced with this dramatic situation, the Republic of Djibouti shows its solidarity with France. The President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh, addressed indeed a strong message to the President François Hollande. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, has strongly condemned the series of terrorist attacks that have occurred in Paris, where 128 people were killed and more than 250 injured, and 18 people are at critical condition. The head of state took the floor to this opportunity to extend its deepest condolences to the government and the French people. The President Guelleh has also affirmed the solidarity of the people of Djibouti to the victim in the attack that fell 100 dead and wounded. Indeed, the head of state, Ismail Omar Guelleh, has addressed today, Saturday, a message of condolences to his French counterpart, Mr. François Hollande, following the series of terrorist attacks that have blooded the city of Paris yesterday evening, causing the tragic provisional balance sheet of 128 victims as well as a higher number of wounded. It's in the horror and dismay that I learned the criminal attacks that targeted the city of Paris, has written the President of the Republic, strongly condemning the terrorist and barbaric acts. My thoughts in these painful moments are with the families of the victims, to the state and to the friendly people of the whole France, has added the President Guelleh, supporting the determination announced of France not to succumb to intimidation and violence. The government and the people of Djibouti also join me to express their solidarity and compassion to the French nation. The terrible trial of this tragedy has also indicated the President Guelleh. I form the sincere wish that France and the international community will be able to eradicate all the scourge of terrorism and fundamentalism in all its form, conclude the head of state, Ismail Omar Guelleh. Still in the French attack, the group calling itself Islamic State has said it was behind a series of bomb blasts and shootings that have left at least 128 people dead and more than 250 injured in central Paris last night in the middle of a football game between France and Germany. Let's see it.
The group calling itself Islamic State has said it was behind a series of bomb blasts and shootings that have left at least 128 people dead and dozens more injured at central Paris on Friday night. 8 ISIS terrorists wielding AK-47s wearing suicide belt carried out coordinated attacks at 6 sites around Paris Friday night, killing at least 127 people and wounding at least 180 others, France President said Saturday. Speaking after an emergency security meeting to plan his government's response, François Hollande declared 3 days of national mourning and raised questions on France's security to its highest level. He described Friday's attack, which produced the worst bloodshed in Paris since World War II, as an act of war. Hollande said ISIS was a terrorist army, a jihadist army against France, against the value that we defend everywhere in the world, against what we are, a free country that means something to the whole planet. Hollande also vowed that France will be merciless toward the barbarians of Islamic State groups and promised his government would act by all means anywhere inside or outside the country. France is already bombing ISIS targets in Syria and Iraq as part of the US-led coalition and has troops fighting extremism in Africa. Less than an hour after Hollande's statement, ISIS claimed responsibility for the attacks in an online statement that described Paris as the carrier of the banner of the cross in Europe, and described the attackers as 8 brothers wrapped in explosive belt and armed with machine rifles.
So let's not forget that the French investigators working on scene that stated that on the 7 terrorists, at least 2 had been identified. One will have a Syrian passport and the other will be a French.
Related to the Paris bombing, a man who was carrying a weapon in a car was stopped in the territory of German province of Bavaria. He was heading toward Paris by the motorway linking Slavsburg in Austria and Munich, Germany. The man arrested was from Montenegro. During the control of his car, the police discovered a hideout with a pistol, machine gun, ammunition, as well as several kilograms of trinitrotoluene.
Speaking from the Elysee presidential palace the morning after France saw its worst day of violence since World War II, the President François Hollande said the attacks were an act of war committed by the Islamic State group's terrorist army. The French President said the atrocities were against France, against the values that we defend everywhere in the world, against what we are, a free country that means something to the whole planet. The Islamic State jihadist group claimed responsibility on Saturday for the series of apparently coordinated attacks in and around Paris. Hollande went on to say that France will triumph over the barbarism of the Islamic State militant group and will act by all means anywhere inside or outside of the country. Hollande declared the 3 days of national mourning in the wake of the attacks. The socialist president announced a state of emergency on Friday night as France reinstituted border checks. Hollande said he will address Parliament on Monday in an extraordinary meeting. France will also hold a minute silence Monday at noon for the victims of the Paris attacks.
For this occasion, the Minister of the Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mr. Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, is reacting to the alliance violence to strike France, a friend and a ally country. He condemned the barbaric and terrorist attack in Paris that killed 128 and 282, including 19 people between life and death. The minister didn't fail to express his heartfelt condolences to the government and people of France and express the solidarity and compassion of the Djiboutian people and government in this terrible moment. We, your Djibouti friend, the government and the people of Djibouti feel very close to you. We cry with you, he said. We will lead this fight together with you against those who did such unimaginable thing to you. This act on freedom that aim in innocent people hits all of us. That is why we must all respond together, said the minister. The responsibility for a series of apparently coordinated attacks in around Paris claimed by the Islamic State group so-called Daesh is remind us to dark history time of humanitarian. The minister added also, no ideology, no cause can justify such human act of and barbaric terrorism is an international scourge that has no border and should therefore fight together with the greatest firmness. Djibouti will spread no effort to support France in this long struggle. In Djibouti, all measurements of security and protection have been taken to ensure the protection of the French national. The alert level was raised to its highest level.
So leaders from across the world condemn a wave of deadly attacks in Paris that left 128 people dead as cities across the world stepped up security in response to the killings. The US President Barack Obama condemned the atrocity in which 128 people died. In an address at the White House, Obama said it's an attack not just on the people of France, but this is an attack on all of humanity and the universal values we share. And on Friday night, the United Nations Nations Security Council called the attacks barbaric and cowardly. The German Chancellor Angela Merkel said she was profoundly shocked by the news and images from Paris. Merkel issued a statement saying her thoughts were with the victims, while the Dutch Foreign Minister Bert Koenders said he was shocked and appalled by new attacks in Paris. Words are not enough. Putin, in his side, sent his deep condolences to Hollande and the people of France following the horrible terrorist attack in Paris. The Kremlin said in a statement Russia strongly condemns the inhuman killing and is ready to provide any and all assistance to investigate these terrorist crimes. Iran's President Hassan Rouhani postponed his trip to Europe after Friday's terror in Paris. He strongly condemned the deadly attacks, branding them crimes against humanity in a message to Hollande official news agency IRNA said.
Also, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has offered his condolences to the France after 128 people were killed in shooting and explosion at 7 different locations across Paris late on Friday. President Erdogan condemned the attack in Antalya before reporters as the head of a G20 summit in Turkey this weekend. He said, Turkey knows very well the meaning of terror and its result. We share the pain of both President Hollande and the French people, and I extend my condolences to our French friend. Erdogan said he had already expressed concern to the international community over the need to tackle terrorism and call for a consensus of the fight against terror. The people of my country know all too well about terrorism, and we think and we feel the same for the attack in Paris. We will continue our resolute stance against terrorism. The Turkish president added. The UK Prime Minister David Cameron warned the country to be prepared for the possibility that Britain could be among the casualties, while the Queen expressed her shock and sadness at the killing.
So now let's come back to the national news. These terrorist and barbaric attacks have also been at the center of discussion between the President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh, and the American Secretary of State Deputy responsible for arms control and international security. The President of the Republic has met today in the Lounge of Honor of the Presidency the Secretary of State Deputy of the United States responsible in matters of arms control and international security, Mrs. Pingotti Moller. The discussion have focused on the international security. Let's not forget that the series of terrorist attacks which have bereaved throughout France and the whole last night in Paris were at the center of discussion too. The Ambassador of the United States in Djibouti, Mr. Tom Kelly, were present at this meeting. The Secretary of State Assistant has expressed his sadness and shared the pain of the French people. Let's listen to her.
To meet with the President of Djibouti, I was very glad to have the opportunity on this solemn day to have the chance both to offer mutual condolences to all of our colleagues and partners in France for the terrible terrorist attack that took place overnight, but also to talk with the President about our close cooperation on counterterrorism, our very close cooperation on security in this region, in the fight against al-Shabaab, in the fight against other terrorist elements, and to really thank the President for the very strong partnership that the United States has with Djibouti here in this region. So it was a solemn day, but a very important day, and of course a great honor to meet with the President.
The Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training, as well as its technical and financial partner UNICEF and WHO, and the financial support of the government of Japan, has started today the national campaign of vaccination against measles. This vaccination campaign against the measles has started this morning at the College of Bulaus in the presence of Mr. Ali Silai Abdullah, Secretary General of the Ministry of Health, Mr. Haroun Umar Aden, Secretary General of the MINFOP, and Mr. Abdi Saki Qayad, Director of the Education and Pedagogy of the MINFOP, as well as the representative of the UNICEF and several executives of the Ministry of Health. This campaign will take place from 14 to 19 November 2015 on the interior national territory. It will target the young people of 50 to 25 years old, and therefore the student of the 9-year-old from the College of Bulaus, and also affected all other college, high school, the University of Djibouti Community Development Center, and public place where you can find all the young people from 50 to 25 years old. The objective of this vaccination campaign is to combat measles, which also affect the young of 50 years old and more. At the same time that the health center in the capital, the chief of doctor of the interior region have also proceeded with the launch of this vaccination campaign, which will going on 6 days in all the countries.
Still on a health issue in the framework of the fight against blindness for all, the Lions Club of Djibouti, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, has organized a campaign of surgery of free cataract in the interior region. These activities began on November 7 to 16 on this month in the region of Al Sabih. A team led by Isa Abdi Bokore, chief doctor of the Balbala Hospital, viewed more than 1,500 patients, of which 81 patients were selected for the cataract surgery. Let's notice that the cataract is a disease that affects the eye and causes a gradual decline in vision up to the blindness. The cataract is a normal phenomenon after 55 years old. They have beneficiary of a free surgery with the post-operative treatment in eye drops. Those patients have seen in consultation have benefited from the treatment eye drops, glasses in vision for patients over the age of 35 years old, and consultation of optometric for the patient less than 18 years old. Let's not forget that more than 400 young people have benefited from this consultation of ophthalmology with delivery of certificates of driving license in the context of vocational training initiated by the Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training.
The movement of Amharic National Democratic Movement has celebrated yesterday afternoon at the People's Palace its 35th anniversary since establishment in 1918. Several Ethiopian dignitaries resident in or operating in Djibouti attended this important ceremony of our Ethiopian neighborhood. This ceremony was chaired by the ambassador of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia to Djibouti, Sulman Dedefo, along with the government member of the Federal State of Ethiopia and several senior executives based in Djibouti. During the ceremony, the history of Amharic movement was traced by the various officials and the close relation and long date between the Republic of Djibouti and the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. Several interventions were made during the ceremony, and fruitful debate has been held between official and Ethiopian citizens resident in Djibouti. We have learned with regret the death of Mrs. Fathia Khairi Dambil occurred last night in Bombay following a long illness. The deceased was born in 1975 in Djibouti. She was the maternal aunt of our fellow journalist Said Samatar. The late Fathia Khairi Dambil left behind her 5 children. May God welcome her in his eternal paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un.
A wanted notice now. The family Hussein Mumin and Fathia Abdurrahman research their son Ilyas Hussein Mumin, 15 years old. The young Ilyas Hussein Mumin is missing since November 7. He was a student at the Balhaus College and he lives in neighborhood 4. In case that someone see him, please contact his family on the following number, which is 77736622.
Let's move now on the regional scene in Ethiopia. Ethiopia launched its first Science, Technology and Innovation Week. Has been launched at UNECA Conference Center in Addis Ababa. This week was launched on the 12th of November 2015 under the theme Science, Technology and Research for the Development of Our Nation. Ethiopia's Deputy Prime Minister Demeke, speaking at the opening of the 3 days panel discussion and exhibition, said the Ethiopian government non-sustainably come when social and political economy go hand in hand with science and technology innovation. He notes the government's attention and commitment to the development of science, technology and innovation seen in the establishment of Institute of the technology in 10 universities, 2 science and technology universities, and the 70 concept in which 70% of the enrolled students focus on the science, technology and natural science. Science and Technology Minister Abiy Ahmed said the week is dedicated to the citizens to remind them about the importance of science, technology and innovation for the actualization of national development objectives.
Already the world's largest passenger plane, the new two-class Airbus A380 will for Emirates will hold the most seats ever, with 557 in economy and 58 in business. Despite more seats being crammed on board, economic passengers will not lose any legroom as first class has been scrubbed, as there are a few flat bed seats in business. The Dubai-based airline said economic will still be spacious and comfortable, and guests will enjoy one of the widest in-flight entertainment screen at 13.3 wide. In addition to more space, those in business class will be able to belly up to an onboard lounge for canapes and drinks.
On the international level, after the bombing attack, the funeral began in Beirut as a Lebanese politician appealed for unity. Let's listen for more information.
The funeral have begun in Beirut of 44 victims of Thursday bombing in a busy neighborhood loyal to Hezbollah. The group, calling itself Islamic State, says it was behind the atrocity. More than 200 people were injured, making it the worst attack in Lebanon since the end of the country's bloody civil war. Hezbollah politician Ali Muqdad said the message is clear. Not everyone in Beirut and across Lebanon will fight these jihadis at all costs. Tali Hatoum is from the Amal movement, says the response lies in unity, in stopping the security threats and settling the instability the jihadis seek. Lebanon cabinet has also held an emergency session. The challenge is to prevent the Syrian conflict from spread. Hezbollah are closely aligned with President Bashar al-Assad, who is battling ISIL. There is a heavy security presence around the sites of the blast. The area is still littered with debris, damaged vehicles, and shattered glasses.
In Japan now, a magnitude of 7.9 earthquake struck Saturday off the coast of southwest Japan, triggering a small tsunami. There was no immediate report of damage or injuries. Reports.
7.0 magnitude earthquake has struck off the Japanese coast, some 159 kilometers southwest of the city Makurazaki in the Kagoshima prefecture. Tsunamis have been issued by the Japanese Meteorological Agency. The quake epicenter was pinpointed at a depth of 10 kilometers after it struck at 5 a.m. The Japanese Meteorological Agency has issued a yellow level tsunami warning for 3 regions. Get out of the water and leave the coast immediately, as the strong current will continue. Do not get in the sea or approach coast until the advisory is cleared, the agency said. The Japanese Meteorological Agency does not expect the tsunami to cause any damage, if any, if it reaches the coastal regions. The USGS has since downgraded the earthquake strength to 6.5 on the Richter magnitude scale, while the Japanese agency continue to list it as a 7.0. A magnitude 7.0 earthquake is classified as a major tremor that can cause serious damage. Japan, no stranger to severe earthquake, was hit by a massive undersea quake in March 2012. It has triggered a tsunami that devastated Japan's northeast coast.
That's it for tonight news. Thank you for being with us.